tonight, and I want to talk to you today about changing a bad habit in your life. Now, we all have habits in our lives that if we changed, we would be healthier and happier. But what is a habit? Well, and I quote, by definition, a habit is a behavior pattern developed by frequent repetition of the act over and over to the point the brain does it automatically. There are two types of habits, good habits and bad habits. Good habits, because they are not harmful, we want to keep. They don't bother anyone else and they don't bother ourselves. Sometimes they actually help us. It's the bad habits we want to look at changing. So, for example, my good habit is I meditate every morning as soon as I get up. Now, this helps me make it through the day calmly and pleasantly. An example of a bad habit that I had was every day when I would come home from work, I'd go to the kitchen and just start stuffing. And I wasn't even hungry most of the time. What is the difference between a habit and an addiction? An addiction, by definition, and I quote, is a compulsive need of a certain thing or substance to the body, which when deprived causes horrible effects. A habit can be controlled or modified, while addiction cannot be controlled and requires professional help for modification. There's a fine line between these two. For example, if you come home in the afternoon, you sit, you have a glass of wine, let go of the pressures of the day, so you can enjoy your evening. That's a habit. However, if you can't wait to get home, to drink an unlimited number of glasses of wine until you pass out, that's an addiction. But what causes these bad habits? Well, there are two main reasons, stress and boredom. I'm going to give you an example. My need to eat after work through the week was due to stress. I needed it to relax. However, on the weekend, when I would go to the kitchen and do the same thing, that was more out of boredom. Why change a bad habit? Why should we do that? Well, because they affect us physically and mentally. Physically, some habits can actually kill you. According to a study by the Center for Disease Control in the United States, and I quote, avoidable behaviors like cigarette use, poor diet, and lack of exercise were the underlying cause of half the deaths in the United States in the year 2000. At best, they make you feel bad. Mentally, what are the effects? Well, there's the addiction aspect. Remember the wine example we talked about? And it drains your self-worth. If you have a bad habit, you probably know you do. And it probably bothers you to some degree. By not changing it, you feel weak, you feel worthless, and even helpless. But what are the effects of breaking that habit? Well, physically, you simply feel better. Now, maybe not at first, because I'll be honest with you. The first several days that I stopped eating after work, I felt anxious because my body wasn't doing the thing that it was used to doing. However, it became easier and easier each day. I actually lost 12 pounds fairly quickly from this, and I began to feel more energetic through the day. Mentally, we gain self-confidence. By changing that one behavior, I felt like I could do so much more. I actually started exercising every day and have now added that good habit to my daily routine. Also, according to a study on behavior and habit, behavior can be determined by, can also determine, your attitude and your personality. I felt happier and more pleasant to be around. Now, I'm going to give you 5 suggestions that worked for me on breaking your bad habits. Number 1, make a decision to change. Your mind is extremely powerful. And when you decide something, I mean really dig your heels in, you become a powerful force. Number 2, change your inner dialogue. What does that mean? Change how you talk to yourself. Words are also powerful. Change your words to positive ones. So your bad habit becomes your undesirable habit. This also includes stop judging yourself. You probably have plenty of people doing that for you anyway. So don't say, I'll never change, I can't do this is too hard. Instead say, okay, so maybe I didn't do exactly what I meant to do today, but I do have the ability to change, and I am headed in the right direction. Number 3, and this might be an interesting one to you. Pretend you don't have the habit. Several years ago, I read a book that Pat Summitt, who is the coach for the Lady Vols basketball head coach at the University of Tennessee, she had written a book called Reach for the Summit. And it was so interesting to me. She wanted to be a winner. She wanted to be successful. So when she finished college, she decided to start living like she was. She started dressing, talking, and thinking like she was the person that she wanted to become. And she became that person. Number 4, just stop doesn't work, and you probably already know that. Oh, I'll just stop, I'll just let it go. It doesn't work that way. If you try to let go of the habit, stop the habit, then you have a gaping hole in your life, in your routine. You must replace it with a desirable habit. So, for example, I began going for a walk every day after work, and I completely avoided the kitchen until time to cook dinner. Number 5. This is probably the most important one. Be patient with yourself. It has been proven that it takes 21 days to change a habit. That's not long, considering you've probably been doing this for several years. I committed to 30 days, but I really began to see a difference at about 15. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. Stress played a part of developing this undesirable habit. So putting that pressure on yourself to change it is like taking 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. In closing, I would like to ask you to please, each morning, ask yourself, how can I be good to myself today? And know that the answer is to be patient with yourself, to trust yourself, and to love yourself. You deserve the best life possible, and you have the ability to have that. Thank you so much, and I know that you all will succeed. Thank you.